Welcome to Waaaay Offsides. Chris, my man, what's up, brother?
Jeffrey, what's happening, man?
How were things this evening? What's up, chat? Man, we got some folks in the chat today. K-Spray was in early. J-Bake.
K-Spray beat J-Bake in.
She did. She was high noon, man. That's pretty awesome. Thank you, K-Spray. Got Chad Kennedy was here. Daniel's here. Who else we got? Of course, Auburn Anonymous in the chat. They're going to be a little more in the chat here shortly.
Who gave J-Bake a wrench?
That would be Cotton.
Oh, boy.
Uh-oh. We got update here from Cotton. Hey, like 15, he said. So some big news, Chris.
We've had a lot of big news the last.
What's happened recently?
Well, let's see. We got some running back committed.
That's
5-star, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, 5-star, and we just had a 4-star tight end commit. We got Crowell and Sutter to commit.
Did Sutter commit?
He did.
So we got both of them. They both committed today.
Both of them this evening.
Cool summer. Frigid.
Ooh, what are they saying? Summer rain? I don't buy into that summer rain stuff. But
a little bit frigid.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool, man.
Little shrinkage.
Do women know about shrinkage?
Of course.
So running back room's looking better now.
It is, and I'm
pretty sure look a little deep. A couple years.
I'm sure the linebacker room will look better here pretty soon.
I mean, maybe.
I don't know. That's just
maybe. There's a rumor that Mr. Griffin may be on our airways around that time. Just
that's what I hear.
Buzz out there about that. I don't know. Could be true, could be false. Who knows?
We'll see.
Who knows? But yeah, there are things happening. I know a lot of folks have been waiting for these commits, and as Cotton said earlier, the January 26th to July 5th was the stretch to watch.
That was a windmill, and
dominoes falling. Now, of course,
something I haven't seen a lot happening over at that sister school to the east.
Oh, not too much.
Not much at all.
Maybe we can get some guys on to clear that up, figure out why that is here shortly. Because I tell you what,
they did get a flip, didn't they? Get a 4-star flip today.
They got a flip from somebody today, probably several.
Well,
they probably got several flips tossed today. I gotta take my little shots at them now while they're in the green room before they can when they can't defend themselves.
What are you feeding them while they're in the green room?
Pizza and beer.
Hopefully, it's some kind of hope.
All our green room guests are provided pizza and beer until they start farting or have to piss. Oh, Raj is in the house. What's up, Raj?
There we go.
Yes, Big Bam's right. Running back room is busting out the seams. We're looking good on the running back side. More dominoes are coming too. We ain't done.
No, we're not done.
Hey, Southern Red.
Red.
Cotton will be in here soon. We're going to get our Auburn Anonymous guys in here shortly. They're hanging out in the background. They're eagerly waiting to get on. We want to get them on too.
How much did you have to pay those guys?
I didn't. They're good guys, man. They're just like we are. They're unhinged and passionate about their school. And I was doing a dry run with them last night just so we could test technology stuff. And then we were talking about that. And I was like, man, I can't. I buy into it because every year in the basketball tournament bracket, I pick Alabama to win it, even though it's very slim. In the playoff bracket last year, I picked Alabama to win it, and we lost 4 games, didn't even make the playoffs. So I totally get the unhinged. Man, I'm picking Bama every time, and that's what I like about them is they and he ain't scared. He went on Twitter the other day and said Auburn was the envy of the offense in the SEC, and I said, what? But hey, man. If you believe it, you believe it. I believe Jay Milley was a hype last year too, and that didn't end well for me.
And who believed that? Did you really believe that?
I did.
knew I didn't like you for some reason.
Yeah, but we see how that ended. So I mean, I respect the passion, but I reached out to them and just offered some encouragement when they first started, and just kind of kept that line of communication open. And then when we decided to do the series of getting on other teams, folks that create content,
I like it
from different perspective. Let them tell us why Auburn's a playoff team. Let them give us some info that we don't ever keep up with on anybody else, but Alabama, of course.
I think Bakes, he's ready.
He's ready to go.
Yeah,
he's ready to go. All right. Well, let's go on and transition in here. Let's see what we can find. Let me go see if I can find these dudes. Let's see. Please welcome, without further ado. Let's see. I'm gonna add this man here. I'm gonna add this man here. And then please welcome, without further ado, we're going to pop in Miles. And, well, we had the thing, but Michael messed it up. All right, here we go. There's Miles.
Close enough.
Sorry, Michael. We can't, hang on. I got to get Michael.
The best your green room had was Natty Light.
Nasty Light. I know, right? Yeah. I know, right? Sorry, our cameras got messed up because Michael isn't here. And so when he pops in here, we'll get this Michael over where he's supposed to be.
There we go.
Well, how are y'all? He may not show up.
Welcome, Auburn Anonymous. This is Miles with Auburn Anonymous. Michael under me. Sorry, the names are messed up. You could thank Cotton for not showing up.
Well, he was too scared. He knew we were going to come on and talk about our playoff-bound Tigers, and I don't blame him.
He did. He dipped out. I can't believe it. So I think he's going to be a few minutes late, but we're going to get him in here. But in the meantime, before we start, why don't you tell everybody in the chat, all these BAMs, unhinged BAMs in the chat, about who is Auburn Anonymous and how y'all got started.
Michael, you want to take that one?
Yeah. So about 10 months ago, I was already decently sized big on Twitter. On my Twitter, which is AA Jackson Arnold, only had a little over 1,000 followers, but I would post a bunch of troll stuff, getting interactions. And me and Miles went to an Auburn football game last year, and on the way back, of course, we lost. And on the way back, I think it was after the California game, we were like, we need to do a podcast because all these people had all these hot takes on Hugh Freeze and what Auburn needed to do going forward. So I was like, yeah, I just kind of told Miles, didn't really think much of it. And then one day I was in my car and Miles was like, hey, I ordered podcast gear. And I was like, all right, well, you know what? I didn't think we were serious about this, but now since you ordered, I got to be serious about it. And we've been going for about 9 or 10 months now. And we're not as advanced as you guys with the technology and all that type of stuff yet. But we've had some pretty big Twitter videos.
That's cool.
Thanks.
That's cool. That's cool.
I don't know if I'd call us advanced.
Yeah, we try something here.
Yeah. It's better than what we got.
It's better than what we got. He goes, that's right.
Well, the plan is to start winning some games this year, and we plan on winning a whole lot of them. And then once that happens, maybe we'll put a little bit more into it, and we'll start looking nice and fresh.
All right, I hear that. So why is Auburn going to win games this year? Why should this year be different than the last two?
Sure.
Tell me.
Well, or the last 5. I'll be fair.
We're going to go that far. We're talking the Hung Freege era. Sorry, my autocorrect called him Hung Freege one time, and that's what he's been to me ever since.
Sure. Well, I'll briefly hit on this, and Michael can say whatever he wants afterwards. But first, the offense is just the biggest contrast in years past. We have the deepest quarterback room in Auburn history. Jackson Arnold, y'all know very well. He's very hard to beat on the road. Ashton Daniels, starting power 4 quarterback, coming on to be the backup. Then, of course, Deuce Knight, who's kind of like Keelan Russell for y'all, except he's a little better as our young guy. So then looking at else on the offense, at the wide receivers, we have, I think y'all agree with me, we have the best wide receiving room in college football. And I don't even think there's a question about that. Offensive line, we have bringing back a lot of starters. We got the number 1 offensive tackle in the portal, Xavier Chaplin, going to be a huge piece. Then we did lose Jarquez Hunter. That's unfortunate, but we do have a lot of good pieces at running back. So we're very excited about this year on offense in particular.
I got you. I got you,
I'm
Michael.
sure
what do
y'all
you
agree with everything I just said.
think? That's
Well,
right. The whole
I mean,
chat does.
Not just that, and I don't like to be cliche and say, if we did this last year in each game, but I mean, last year, it starts with our kicker, Alex McPherson. He had some type of disease. I don't know if you guys saw him on the field last year. He looked like literally an eighth grader. With this disease, he got down to like 110 pounds, 120 pounds. So he couldn't kick last year. He tried to attempt to kick in like the Kentucky game. It didn't work out. And so, if we just had a half decent field goal kicker, we easily beat Oklahoma and Missouri. Those aren't even games. We just couldn't even make a 40-yard field goal. So, that right there, I think we were better last year than our record showed. And not only that, we had a -9 turnover discrepancy if you combine all of our games. So, not having Peyton Thorne's going to help, hopefully. And so I don't think we're going to have to get on the right side of that. But as Miles said, this roster is just absolutely stacked. Quarterback, you have one of the best quarterback rooms in the country, in my opinion, with Jackson Arnold, Deuce Knight, and Ashton Daniels, 2 Power 4 starters, one who was the #1 quarterback out of high school. And then you got Deuce Knight, who we're not expecting him to play next year, if we're being completely honest, but we're hearing great things about him. You got the running back room with Damari Alston and Jeremiah Cobb. You guys probably know about Damari Alston. He didn't get too many snaps last year because of Darquez Hunter, but just 2 years ago in the Iron Bowl, he had 10 carries for 85 yards. I mean, he's already proven that he can succeed in the SEC. And then at the wide receiver room, I mean, Auburn and Bama both have great wide receiver rooms, but Cam Coleman, Perry Thompson, Eric Singleton, Horatio Fields, a transfer from Wake Forest, Sam Turner, Malcolm Simmons. I mean, it's just the most stacked wide receiver room Auburn has had since I've been watching Auburn football, probably of all time. And then the offensive line, I was telling Miles this when you guys were on, like, I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I think Bama has the best offensive line in the SEC, but I think Auburn has the second best. You got Xavier Chaplin, Miles said, was the #1 offensive tackle in the transfer portal. You have Connor Lewitt, center, who is projected like a 3rd or 4th rounder in next year's draft, but still for a center to go 3rd or 4th round. I mean, that's solid for college football. You got Jeremiah Wright, a 5th-year guy who's been starting the last couple of years. You got Dylan Wade, who's been a starter for us the past couple of years. And then we have one tackle position that's going to be up for grabs. We have Mason Murphy, who we got out of the portal out of USC. I'm not too confident that he's going to win the offensive tackle position. We also have one of our returning tackles from last year, Xavier Miller. So there'll be a battle at the right tackle spot. But we're just bringing back a lot of guys like we had in the past couple of years. I mean, Brian Harsin put us in such a bad spot over the past few years, and it really has taken Hugh Freeze a couple of years to rebuild this roster, and it's rebuilt. So now, if we don't win games this year, it's going to be on Hugh Freeze. He's done making excuses about the roster. The offense is one of the best in college football, in my opinion.
And Michael, I just want to quickly say, you said it's on Hugh Freeze. Luckily for us, wherever Hugh Freeze has been a winner. So we don't have that to worry about going into this upcoming season, in my opinion. But I'm sorry, I just had to throw that in there real quick.
Yeah, and the defense is good too. Our secondary is probably what we're going to be best at next year. At cornerback, we have Kayan Lee and Jay Crawford, who started last year. Both were high recruits that Freeze brought in his first couple of years. Safeties, we'll have Caleb Harris back. Sylvester Smith is back. We brought in Anquan Fingers and Eric Winters, 2 of the top recruits in Alabama in last year's class for depth. And then obviously at linebacker, we have the fastest linebacker in college football, DeMarcus Riddick, who, as we both know, outran Jalen Milroe.
Despite what the camera showed.
Defensive line is stacked too. Keldrick Falk, you can't look up an NFL mock draft without seeing his name in there.
He's going to get a Heisman vote next year. Someone's going to vote for him for the Heisman.
That might be pushing it, but Keldrick Falk, I mean, he's a first-round guy. This will be his 3rd year with Auburn. We're just glad he never decided to transfer and stuck with us for the last 3 years. I expect him to probably lead the SEC in sacks. We got Kevon Crawford, which I don't know what this says about our offensive line, but I do know I heard from a spring practice, Keyron Crawford had 4 sacks. So either the offensive line is really bad or Keyron Crawford's, the next.
I was about to say, is that like a double edge where you're like,
Exactly.
the guy dominated, but then you're like, but wait a second, that was our
Exactly.
tackle that he blew by 4 times in the scrimmage. Wait a second.
Exactly. And that's why I was saying that about Mason Murphy. I heard he was the tackle that was mostly giving up those sacks. So I'm not, crazy confident about him coming out of USC. But yeah, this roster is the playoff caliber roster. I just need Hugh Freeze to prove it to me that he can do it at Auburn. And another thing about this upcoming season is I think, honestly, Auburn has a slightly easier schedule than most SEC teams when it comes to our draw in the SEC. I personally think Oklahoma is going to be a very overrated team next year. I predicted all the SEC schedules. I don't even have Oklahoma making a bowl game. I think John Mateer is getting way too much hype. He played at Washington State last year, who everyone says Washington State and acts like they played against their former Pac-12 schools. He did pretty good versus Mountain West competition. I'm not sold on John Mateer. So I think we'll get a win at Oklahoma. I think we win at Baylor. I think Vanderbilt's going to have a bad year again. I think they got very lucky last year. I'm not sold on Diego Pavia like everyone else seems to be. I see Vanderbilt as a win. We should have beat Missouri last year. I'll take them as a win. We get Georgia and Alabama at home. And I'm taking Auburn both of those. The one I'm
wins. He goes wins.
Texas A&M.
It's actually funny because I filled out a schedule a couple weeks ago, and I just off the cuff was saying what I thought wins and losses. And I won't tell you exactly what the end record said, but I'll tell you Michael sent me his. He said he did his the other day, and little did I know it matched 110%. We both have Auburn going 11-1. The one loss to Texas A&M.
Chris disagrees.
Yeah, I'd like to know. Since we're going to lose 6 games next year. I mean, I have our schedule put up right here. I can't even fathom.
I meant to do a graphic of Auburn's schedule.
You're going into week 2 with a loss. You're going to be 0-1. I don't think you really researched Baylor, have you?
They have a heck of an offense. It's going to be a shootout, but unfortunately for us, we have a great offense, and their defense is Swiss cheese. So we're going to be
Swiss.
Okay.
Swiss,
but
baby.
you know what? I almost laughed when you said Hugh Freeze is a proven winner.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what his college record is?
Well,
the only thing he's won at is girls basketball in high school.
I thought you were going a different direction when you were.
So did I.
That.
Well, that too, but we're not going to bring that up.
Okay, well that's good.
What is he's like 87-61 in his college head coach career.
Well, you got to take into context that he was taking over Ole Miss, who was a complete bottom feeder in the SEC, and he was going 8-4 consistently there. And 8-4 at Ole Miss is like 11-1 at
over Auburn, which was another bottom feeder when he took them over.
Well, maybe at the point of which he took us over, but we have the prestige of a top tier SEC school.
So who's the starting quarterback going to be for Auburn this year?
The guy who beat y'all by like 3 touchdowns last year.
Okay, you know what his stats were last year?
Not good.
Well, we had a bunch of walk-ons playing at wide receiver. So
their 5 best wide receivers.
It was basically like us 4 out there playing wide receiver for Oklahoma.
Say they lost like 3 of their starting receivers.
Who's your best wide receiver this year?
That's tough. There's so many amazing. I'd probably go with Eric Singleton Jr., but Cam Coleman's up there. Malcolm Simmons is up there.
What was Cam Coleman's numbers last year?
I know in his final 3 games, he had more yards and touchdowns than Ryan Williams had in his final 6.
Yeah, he did.
These are facts.
But look at what you got to look at is how many times was he thrown at?
You tell me. You seem like you're a man who knows.
He was thrown at. I think I want to say he had 50% more. It was like 52% more passes thrown at him than Ryan Williams did, and that's because we had a shit quarterback.
Yeah, because our quarterback last year was.
Hey, y'all had a third rounder at quarterback. We had Peyton Thorne, which honestly, this is easily Hugh Freeze's biggest mistake at Auburn which is catching him a lot of slack this year. He almost has put his job on the line with Peyton Thorne. He was terrible his first year, and he could have went in the portal and got a quarterback, but he decided to double down on him, which was unbelievable.
Yeah, that shocked me.
Me and Miles, we were positive about Peyton Thorne going into last year, but we were just being positive, man. There was not much to be positive about. But Jackson Arnold, man, he really is a good quarterback. He was in a bad spot at Oklahoma. They had the worst offensive line in the SEC this year. That's another reason I don't believe in Oklahoma. I don't think their offensive line has gotten much better. And their top 5 wide receivers were out. And so, I mean, what was he supposed to do? And so now he's gone to Auburn, and he's got the receivers, he's got the offensive line.
His receiver room is definitely better.
Yeah,
it is better, but you've got to. You can only do so much with the coaching at Auburn, and let's just be. I mean, Hugh Freeze. Let me tell you, Hugh Freeze is not the answer for any big time program. I don't care what anybody says. I don't
disagree with that.
Why do you say that?
He will never win a national championship at Auburn. He might win a Division II championship over at some little community college in Arkansas or Texas, but he's not going to win a national championship stage playing D1.
Well, he's winning a lot of the recruiting trail right now. I mean, you go look at 2025 recruiting. I mean, I don't know if y'all want to. I don't know if y'all.
What's he winning?
Recruiting battles. I mean, you go look at 2025. I mean, look, we got if you look at the top 15 players, we have the top 8 or 9 of them. They're going to Auburn. I think none of them are going to Alabama.
But what does that translate to on the field?
You'll find out this football season.
Okay,
give a few. I'm not a Hugh Freeze guy. I think that he has gotten a lot of mileage out of Bo Wallace and the Chad Kelly game, and then he went on national TV and said that he should have beat Saban 5 times. I thought y'all should have fired him that day when he went on TV and said that. I thought you should have cut him loose right then for hanging his hat on that. But I think he's still living off those 2 wins at Ole Miss because they happened back-to-back years. So maybe I'm wrong, and he turns around this year that he's got a quarterback and some receivers, and he proves everybody wrong. And you guys are right.
I can tell you,
I just don't see it with Freeze. I'm just not a big Freeze guy. I just didn't. I thought that was a bad hire when y'all hired him. But coming off who you just hired, it was an upgrade.
So you truly think that Auburn's making the playoffs?
100%. This is sure, we like to get on and be entertainers, but this isn't an act. I mean, we 100% believe Auburn's making the playoffs this year. I'm sorry, you cut out there.
Do you like to gamble?
Not a whole lot, no sir.
Okay, well, when you get ready, you let me know.
It's that crazy.
We'll do.
I mean, the schedule.
Family show.
Where do you find the losses on Auburn's schedule? I mean,
let's get.
Yeah.
They Baylor will beat them.
Okay, so you got 0-1. You got the schedule right there, Miles, right?
Let me get my notes up.
All right, so Chris got losing to Baylor.
I truly believe they're going to lose to Oklahoma.
Is that week 2?
I think that's plausible.
No,
I think it's plausible. That's week 4.
Yeah.
Week 2 and 3 are give me's. They're South Alabama and
who's the other one? South Alabama may beat them.
Week 2 is Ball State. Week 3 is South Alabama. So that's
all right. Then Oklahoma, and then they're going to lose to Georgia. You can say they're going to beat Georgia. They're losing to Georgia.
Is that in Jordan-Hare?
That's in Jordan-Hare.
I just don't think Georgia's going to be the same team this year.
And you also, I'm sorry, you go ahead, Michael.
Go ahead.
They just don't have the same depth that they've had the past few years. They're kind of like Alabama. It's just like you guys were dominating. I'm not going to say y'all weren't, but now with the transfer portal era, the guys that were typically second or third string at Bama and Georgia, they're transferring. And so you got that. I mean, y'all both have great starters still, but not the same kind of depth that you guys used to have. And both of you guys are losing quarterbacks and have unproven guys who have never succeeded at the college level. Not obviously Jackson Arnold hasn't really succeeded himself, but he's shown more than Gunnar Stockton and Ty Simpson. And I kind of think Georgia's in the same boat with Alabama. I'll give y'all's record prediction after we go through Auburn's, but I'm not.
The only uncertainty at Georgia right now is quarterback. That's
Yeah.
it.
That's
a
a
big
little
one.
bit more uncertainty than there is at Auburn. I
Oh,
think.
all right. Let me see if I can get caught.
You guys travel to Fayetteville, play Arkansas.
That we do.
That
Win,
is
of
a
course.
loss. That is a
Oh
loss.
my gosh, Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman, really?
Sammy.
You said Alabama has you think the best offensive line in the
Well, he
SEC?
said that, not me. He said
I
that.
did.
Arkansas, their offensive line is going to be tough. They got a lot of guys out of transfer that's got a lot of experience on the offensive line, and they're gonna win in the trenches there. I think Taylon Green's gonna be good. I think you're gonna have trouble stopping him. And then, I think Texas A&M, they're gonna beat you.
That's the one we agree on.
They're gonna beat you. And then, of course, Alabama's going to beat the hell out of you guys.
Yeah.
Bama by
Feel
100.
better because I honestly, if y'all don't beat us, do you guys think Kalen DeBoer's back next season?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
That, I think, is the biggest difference between us and y'all. I mean, I think about 6 months from now, we're going to be celebrating our playoff berth, and y'all are going to be doing a podcast here talking about who your next head coach is. I think that's the biggest difference between Auburn and Alabama fans right now.
Oh, boy.
I hope you're wrong. I'm not buying that, but I hope you're wrong.
I feel like I'm talking to the guy in the parking lot at the gas station up the street.
I feel like if I have to come on the show and say you're right about that, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I'm not coming on.
Speaking of parking
Here we
lots
go.
at gas stations, speaking of parking lots at gas stations,
Listen to this guy.
I need to tell you guys, I've been through all kinds of hell just to do this. Listen
right.
to me. First
All
of
right,
all,
well, you missed everything. You can
no,
leave now.
no, I didn't miss anything. Hold on. First of all, who just said if Auburn beats Alabama, Alabama's looking for a new head coach? Did I hear that right?
No,
You
I
did.
said I didn't say if. I said
He said,
Michael said that.
He said, is it possible?
No, that's dumb. Absolutely not.
Y'all's expectations are just so high. And
That's true.
Luckily for Alabama, none of us are in charge of the athletic department.
That's true. Thank
That's
God.
the same about us.
No, if not, I would have fired Nick Saban a long time ago when he kept putting like guys at cornerback that were getting smoked all the time. I was so irritated that everybody was like he's a DB guru, and I'm like, well, why are his corners constantly getting burned and laying on their face?
He would have
Talk
fired
about you,
Nick
Eddie
Saban
Jackson.
in 21.
Yeah. They moved him to safety, and he wound up with a 10-year NFL career. He should have done that about 2 years earlier.
Yep.
Look,
But you
I
can
never-
thank Sammy Coates for that, because Sammy Coates ran by him for like 200 yards that day,
dude, don't get me
and then
started.
blew his leg out. And they said, you know what? We're going to move this guy to safety. And then he wound up being an All-American and a first-round draft pick and had a 10-year NFL career. So thank you, Sammy Coates, for Eddie
Yes.
Jackson.
Thank you. Michael, I got a legit question. No BS. All theatrics aside and being funny aside.
Sure.
What you probably already talked about this. I'm sorry, I'm late to the party. What are your realistic? Take your orange and blue goggles off. What are your realistic expectations for Auburn this year?
I think you heard him.
Okay, I've thought about this, and Michael can speak for himself. But for me, anything below 8-4 is just a travesty. Like Hugh Freeze can get out. At 8-4, I'm not really happy, but I'm kind of content to let him keep going. 9-3, I'm satisfied, but I think we could do better. 10-2 or better is what I expect, and what I think is very possible, especially with our schedule and our roster. So I think 10-2, 11-1. That's where I have us this year.
So if Kalen DeBoer comes to Auburn and beats Auburn, right? The game's in Jordan Hare this year, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
God, Lord, man. So somebody's going to be sacrificing chickens under the field or something weird's going to happen.
DeBoer's never
Yeah.
gone through that yet. He hasn't done nothing about that yet.
So if Kalen DeBoer comes into Auburn and beats Hugh Freeze, how do you feel? What's the next step for Auburn? Do you stick it out with him? I mean, he's kind of. I do think, all bias aside, I think Auburn will kind of influx recruiting wise. They had a great class last year. I think you're going to see them do a little bit better as we get towards actual signing. But in terms of what the product is on the field, is it time to turn the page away from Hugh Freeze if Kalen DeBoer beats him at home?
Well, first off, with the recruiting, we've obviously had successful classes in 24 and 25, but in 2026, we're ranked like 70 something right now, and there's no shying away from that. We're gonna have to win football games this year. especially in this era of college football where guys flip left and right, there's still plenty of time for us to get back in the top 15, top 10. Recruiting classes in June really don't mean much anymore. But I haven't shied away with my opinion on. I think this roster is a top 10 roster in college football. The only thing I'm not completely sold on is Hugh Freeze. That's the difference between me and Miles. I think Hugh Freeze is one of the best recruiters in all of college football. The fact that he's been able to get guys to come to Auburn the past couple of classes with how unsuccessful we have been is pretty impressive. You look each year, it's the top contenders in college football in Auburn in the recruiting rankings. And so I think Hugh Freeze is one of the best recruiters in college football. If you look at these past couple of years, there's been a few games where he just made awful decisions where we could have won games if, we ran out versus Oklahoma, we could have ran out the clock, but Hugh Freeze is out there passing with Peyton Thorne and he throws a pick six, Oklahoma beats us. And so I'm honestly not completely sold on Hugh Freeze as a football coach. He's a great recruiter, and I'm hoping he proves me wrong this year. I do believe in this roster, and I believe Hugh Freeze can at least be an average coach. I kind of wish he would bring in an OC personally that would call the plays, but he has an OC right now that isn't calling the plays, and he's banking it all on himself. So that's my only concern with the roster. But I'm right there with Miles. I think our true floor is if everything goes bad would be 7-5, and I think Hugh Freeze keeps his job at 7-5, just because you look at today's era in college football as well, like Kentucky, Arkansas. These guys have wanted to fire their coaches, but the buyouts these days are so big that schools literally cannot afford them. And I think Auburn, they've had to buy out the last few coaches.
I was about to say, they're in buyout hell.
Yeah, they are.
Exactly. And so I don't think the administration wants to fire Hugh Freeze. So I think if he goes 7-5, he'll keep his job. 6-6 or lower, he's gone. And I think the ceiling for this team, though, is 11-1. I think we can win every single game at home. You guys know it. Playing at Jordan-Hare, it's one of me and Miles. I've been to 15 of the 16 SEC football stadiums for an Auburn football game. Or I haven't been to Oklahoma for an Auburn football game. I went for Oklahoma versus Houston when they had Jalen Hurts. But I've been to all these environments, and Auburn, Texas A&M, LSU, just those three in particularly to me have stuck out as far as how loud they get. I just think Auburn has the potential to win every single game at home. I don't believe in Oklahoma. I don't believe in Vanderbilt. So the games that we have on the road, I think, are very winnable. And so I think Auburn's in a good position as far as their schedule this year to actually win games. If we had Florida's schedule, or even if we had Alabama's schedule, I think I would have this at a
totally different
record.
Totally different.
Okay. Speaking of Hugh Freeze, and this is let's set the rivalry aside for a second. Cancer diagnosis. What's the? I don't keep up with Auburn like you guys do. Obviously, what's the latest on that? Anybody? There were some rumors going around. Obviously, I'm pretty sure they were started by trolls that he was gonna step away and all of this. Of course, it came out and was addressed. But just in general, his health, is that a concern for you guys moving into the season?
Not whatsoever. So, Auburn's very big. We do in basketball every year. We do the Outlive game where they raise a bunch of money for cancer awareness and cancer screening. So that's something the university takes very seriously. And as a result, he caught his cancer diagnosis very early on. So fortunately, we're good to go. He's going to be in full health. That will not be an excuse if things don't go the way we foresee it. He should be totally fine.
It's crazy because I remember hearing rumors that other coaches were telling recruits about Hugh Freeze's health before it was announced that he ever had cancer. So when they actually announced he had cancer, I was like, wow, are they actually onto something? I think he's fine. Of course, I think even if he was doing okay or if he wasn't doing good, Auburn really wouldn't want that out there that our head football coach is doing really bad. I think he's fine, and the reports are that it's not going to be a problem. But, I mean, this recruiting class right now isn't ranked very high. And, I do think we'll get some flips late, like I just said. But I don't know if that has something to do with it. If other coaches are recruiting against him, using he's not going to be around at Auburn much longer. I mean, it's possible.
And we got a couple good commits here recently. Now, one of the big Twitter people, Gracie Skywalker, was saying we were going to get Crowell. Unfortunately, that didn't go our way. But we did get an offensive tackle, I believe, from New Zealand. I forget his name. And then, of course, we got that 4-star, almost a 5-star quarterback flip from Penn State today. So, a little bit of
quarterback rooms
momentum.
look a little bit deeper with Deuce Knight. Now this guy, and then plus the 2 you got there now. So we got 4 on the roster now.
Yeah. Michael, I think we only have 3 on the roster right now. But fortunately, they're all starting caliber. Of course, Deuce is a starting caliber, but he's a little younger. And, of course, Jackson Arnold, who's going to be the man. And then Ashton Daniels.
Who's the Penn State guy you're talking about?
He's a 2026 flip.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you meant a portal. I thought you were talking about.
No, they flipped him. I think his name's Peyton also, right?
Yeah, we didn't have to go there. We didn't have to go there. But,
look, let me ask you guys this: who I know we can not go back and forth all night, and the camaraderie, but seriously, who do you think your next big commit's going to be on the Plains?
Michael's the recruiting expert. I'm going to defer to him.
Man, it could be a lot of different people. I wish I could sit here and say it's going to be Sadarian Morgan, but it's all signs that he's going to Alabama right now. And so, that
would be a pull if he showed up and announced he was going to Auburn. That would be
I'd
pretty
quit.
shocking.
I'd quit football.
I would be surprised.
Yeah. And honestly, hey, he's one of those guys that don't be surprised if we flip him late. And, from what I've heard, the coaching staff has been telling recruits that, hey, a lot of these other schools, apparently a lot of the other schools like Bama, Georgia, every other school is saying, hey, you come here, you're going to get this amount of money. And Auburn just hasn't been direct with the recruits about money. They've been telling them that, hey, we can't promise you anything right now. And recruits do not like to hear that. Apparently they think that a lot of these deals with these guys are going to fall late. I don't know. There's a couple of guys we're in on. There's the number 6 ranked player in Alabama. He's an edge. I forget his name. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's the guy who's supposed to commit next. We got a tight end who's going to commit on July 4th. He's a 3-star. He's picking between Auburn and Virginia Tech. So honestly, there's not like a 5-star that I think is about to commit to Auburn soon. Recruiting's not looking great right now. But if you look at the 2 teams that are last in recruiting in the SEC are Auburn and Missouri. They're also the top 2 teams in the transfer portal from this past offseason. So I just think the first few years at Auburn, Hugh Freeze said, hey, I got to build through the high school recruiting. And I think now we're spending our money on the portal. And it showed. We got the number 1 wide receiver in the portal. We got the number 1 offensive tackle in the portal. We got Jackson Arnold at QB.
Number 1 quarterback in the portal.
Yeah, I just don't think high school recruiting means quite as much as it used to. It's still important because you want to have those basic guys. But, I mean, I don't know the percentage. It's got to be over 50% of D1 guys transfer now. I'm not exactly sure.
It's nuts.
If you're jealous of my shirt, you can just say it.
He'll get you one in the mail straight to you.
Yeah, I got you.
Straight to you. Yeah, it's crazy how I've said this several times on the show that it's basically you're just signing 1-year deals now. It's like a 1-year free agent deal, and these guys will just hop back in the portal the next year, even if they start and contribute and are on a winner. You get up one morning and they're in the portal, and you're like, what? And it's so nothing surprises anymore when the guys get in the portal. It's just, I've been saying, just 1 year. If you miss him in recruiting, wait a year and sign him next year when he's a free agent, because that's where we are.
And a part of it, like I feel like everyone hates it, and I'm right there with it. Like, it's good and bad because it's easy to rebuild, but it just sucks to, we had a guy last year, Walker White, who was kind of, I think the world of him. I think he's going to be great. Now, I think Deuce is a better player, and I think that's partially why he ended up leaving, and he actually ironically went to Baylor. But, you get these guys, you invest in them, think you're going to have them in the long term, and that's just not how it works anymore, unfortunately.
No such thing. Because the market's reset every year, just like the NFL free agency.
Go ahead, Michael.
I was just saying last year everyone was making a big deal about Ohio State having a $20 million roster, and now it looks like everyone's going to have a $20 million plus roster this upcoming season.
Ohio State did it right, though. They took care of their own guys. They didn't.
Yeah, that's what they did. They kept what they had,
guys, and just go for the hot commodity. Sans Caleb Downs.
Yeah. And even going back to talking about the transfer portal, I mean, they don't have it under control when like what's going on with Brett Bielema right now, pointing fingers at Kirby Smart. If I can make a phone call to a 5-star wide receiver and say, hey man, look, enter the portal and I'll give you $20 million to come over here. And NCAA does nothing about it. I mean, they open Pandora's box with it, and you can't put it away now.
Yeah, it happened so fast. And
I would love to go back to paying guys under the table.
It's a lot cleaner that way.
Yeah, but Hugh Freeze would never do that, though. If we went back to the old way, he is, a man of character. I don't think he'd do
it. That's right. Like Dabo now refuses to hit the portal. He's like, no, we're doing this old-fashioned way.
Yeah, that's why Dabo is going to keep running down that hill.
I'm going to keep sprinting down that hill like an idiot.
9-3 and 8-4 record.
Aye.
I say that, and he may run the table.
I know, right?
I'm going to say if we don't win the championship this year, I think it's Clemson.
They don't have to navigate the SEC. ACC is a much easier path.
Exactly, and we already know there's going to be like Illinois will be in the playoffs. Probably.
Isn't that where Bielema is, Illinois?
Yeah,
sure is.
Yep, and and you'll have I don't know. Liberty may make it. Who knows? Who knows now?
But I think a lot last year, like there had to be a lot of upsets, even for Bama at 9-3. I'm not saying anything bad about Bama. The fact that they were 9-3 and almost in the playoffs still, I don't think that's going to happen again this year. Personally, like I think there's going to be more 10-2 teams that are going to be on the bubble for the playoffs this year. So,
and you may be right.
Get you there.
Yeah.
And we've had conversation on here before. If aren't they going to expand? What are they expanding to 14 or 16? What?
I feel like I've heard 16.
Yeah,
64, I think.
I'm gonna, and we've talked about it though with the playoffs like it is now. I think in the near future we may see a 3-loss national champion.
I mean, we saw a 2-loss one last year, and if you would have thought a few years ago that would be unthinkable.
Preposterous. Exactly. But you just got to get in, then everybody's 0-0. And more is not the answer. I don't think adding 4 more teams to it's going to make it. There weren't 12 playoff-worthy teams last year.
Yeah.
So now you're going to muddy it up more with a bunch of 3- and 4-loss teams at 13 through 16. You're going to have some 3-loss teams in there.
It's
all these AQs and all that.
It's all
these
about
automatic qualifiers.
It's money. It's revenue. They want the revenue because Delta State University, their 630 fans will drive the ratings up.
I'm a Boise State guy, but the fact they got a bye week last year and a 4 seeds, I mean, come on. And then they got trounced in the first game, so it's like.
It's becoming more and more like the NFL. And this is kind of different, but it relates in a way. So last year in college basketball, the last game of the regular season where y'all beat us, I was saying on Twitter before that game, we should just throw our walk-ons out there because we had already won the SEC regular season and clinched that up. And
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, just like why risk the injury? We had Broom at the time who was a little, whatever. And I say that to say in football this year and going forward, you might see a lot of that. Let's just say, I know y'all don't think it, I think we'll have 1 loss, but let's say we go into the Iron Bowl undefeated, 11-0. Sure, we want to beat y'all because y'all are our rival, but I mean, at that point, we've already locked up a berth in the SEC championship game and the playoff. What does that game mean? And you see a lot of that, of course, in the NFL, and I think you might start to see some of that in college as well.
Yeah.
It's like we talk. What does the SEC championship game really? Any conference championship game? What does
you almost bypass it? If you're 11, if Auburn's 10-0 and loses to Alabama at 10-1, we don't. We're good. We'll go to the playoffs. Y'all can play that championship game. It's fine. I've been saying that whoever wins the SEC basketball regular season should be able to bypass the tournament and say we don't need this. We don't need to grind through
That's right.
4 games in 3 days and risk an injury or grind us up and then run out of gas in week 2 of the second weekend of the tournament or whatever. That'll never happen, but I've been saying that for years, that the regular season winners should be able to bypass it. And same with the SEC championship game. Now it carries really no weight. That game, it was meaningless last year, unfortunately, because that game used to be heavy. But if you're going to add 16 teams to the playoffs and half of them don't have to play a conference championship game, I mean, why risk it? Why run? I mean, do you think Georgia would have sat Carson Beck if they'd have known he'd have blown his arm out and that would have cost them their run at the title? They wouldn't have played him that game.
Not a chance.
Not a chance.
Hey, y'all, I'm sorry. I have a fireworks show that just randomly started next to my house in Birmingham.
Oh, it's okay.
And so I've been on mute this whole time. I'm not going to be able to speak much because I have dogs, too. They're going crazy.
Are you sure it's a fireworks show?
Do what?
Are you sure it's a fireworks show being in Birmingham?
Oh, yeah. No, I live in Vestavia, so I think I'm good.
Okay. Where are they shooting fireworks at?
We have a little park right next to us. And
oh, really?
we're doing an early July 4th show for some reason.
It's really early.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
June 26th,
really
June
early.
26th.
And it's not even a weekend. It's not even a weekend.
It's like a Thursday night. You're like, man, I gotta go to work tomorrow, man. What are you guys doing there?
Yeah.
Well, I don't hear any dogs or anything, so you're good so far. If them dogs start
Well,
barking,
hey,
we can mute
at
you.
least he's not like Bill and they're crawling all over him.
Oh gosh.
Can I ask y'all a question real quick?
Yeah,
Sure.
come on.
All right, awesome. So, what I've never understood is talking to my Alabama friends and stuff and wife. It seems that like the field storming thing. It's like y'all feel like y'all are above it, and I'm just curious why not? Because like I was a college student at Auburn and I got to storm the field against y'all in 2017, and I don't even say that as like a backhanded comment. It was one of the coolest experiences of my life, getting to storm the field in 2017 after that run.
Yeah,
So,
I have a very strong
why not?
opinion about
Okay.
this.
I have a strong opinion about it too,
I'd love to hear it.
and it's
So-
probably right in line with Jeff.
So when you storm the field, in my opinion, what you're doing is you're just announcing to everyone that you're a loser and that you did not expect to win the game. And you went into the stadium saying, we're not going to win this game. And then, oh my God, we won the game and let's run on the field. Now, everybody storms the field when they beat Alabama. I'm not just saying that because I'm a Bama fan. Go look at the Bama's losses against anybody the last 10 years. They all stormed the field. LSU will storm the field when they beat Ole Miss, for crying out loud. It's a joke. So it's like, now I may be wrong. This is just me. If you storm the field, you're telling everyone we did not expect to win this game. We came in here thinking we were going to lose. And that to me is loser. That's just saying we're losers. That's how we think. And oh my God, we won. So we got to go celebrate. Now the celebration outside Jordan Hare is where the vibe is. I was there in 96. I don't know if you guys were even born then. I was there in 96.
That was the year I was born.
Okay. So you don't remember this because y'all were just in the world. Chris remembers this though, when the Ed System game, when we lost that game in 96, it was 1 and they throw that stupid screen pass. He fumbles it. Auburn goes down. Jarrett Holmes kicks a field goal. Auburn wins. Bama, they kicked it off to Alabama and we ran it back to like the 20 and got tackled and it was over. Yep. And I don't remember if they stormed the field that night. I'm sure they did, but the party outside Jordan Hare was where it was at. So I'm always like, storm out, take it out, out. Like let everybody know that, man, it ain't nothing. We should have won this game. Like I ain't storming the field, man. You ain't supposed to win this game. We were supposed to win this game. And Alabama goes into every game like that. Like you said earlier, Michael, our expectations are unreasonable.
Yeah,
all the time. So we expect to win every single game. So when we win the game. Okay, well, we should have won the game. Why are we going to storm the field? We should have won. We were supposed to win.
I'll tell you. Let me give y'all an example.
That's me.
Our expectations.
Not saying that you're wrong because you do it. That's just how I look at field storming.
No, if it's taken, I was asking the question.
Yeah, our expectations, and if you ever watch a ball game with our Michael, you'll understand. I have seen him on the third play of the first possession say that the game has passed Nick Saban by. It's time to wrap it up, call it quits, season's over, just because we went 3 and out one time.
He's like my dad was. It was
But
doomsday.
I have a question that I've never gotten a direct answer from any Auburn fan.
Bring it. I'm excited now.
What is the deal with rolling the trees?
Man, it's awesome. It's awesome. Michael, was that you? Oh, no, that was him. I'll give my take on it. So, I mean, it's one of those things that uniquely Auburn respect. I don't mean this to be. Respectfully, I wouldn't think y'all would understand, or Alabama fans would understand.
Fair enough.
One of those unique traditions.
Fair enough.
I don't know if y'all know the story behind it, so I won't. It's kind of a boring one, honestly. I won't get into it, but it's kind of as Jeff alluded to earlier. It's just like the party outside of Jordan-Hare, so it's right across. At least when I went to school there, things may have changed now. Sky Bar was the big party place. That's where we'd go after our big wins. So it's right across the street. So we'll go hit Toomer's Corner. Of course, unfortunately, some of the time I was there, it wasn't rollable due to it was past the Updike era. I think it was if I remember correctly, I think an LSU fan, we had beaten them, went and lit it on fire. But yeah, stopping by, rolling the trees.
That sounds like LSU.
Yeah, it does sound like LSU. And then the only time I can remember, I was in grad school, so I was there in 2019. I was walking by. Or excuse me, no, that was after we won the Elite Eight. But I was about to allude to when we rolled it before we lost in the Final Four. But yeah, it's just one of those fun things, man. Like if y'all are ever down in Auburn for a game that isn't the Iron Bowl, highly recommend giving it a shot, getting some Toomer's lemonade. You'll have the time of your life, and maybe just maybe you'll want to get your own tree to roll in Tuscaloosa.
No, I doubt we want to do that. But, I think we have a tradition. We like to walk to the president's mansion after we win.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of that.
We don't throw toilet paper. We don't
throw garbage all over town.
Yeah. We're not trashy.
Yeah, y'all just poison the trees. Y'all don't.
Yeah.
No,
but at least there's no garbage
I
to clean up.
Just that one.
No, fair enough. I'm just.
I think that was Cotton's cousin.
Probably.
Yeah.
He's got a lot.
He does.
Yeah.
But cool, like traditions like that are cool though. Even though we don't get them as Bama fans, it's easy for us to troll our Auburn friends and make fun of that tradition that y'all have with that, which I've been doing for years. I'm saying, why celebrate by throwing garbage all over your town? And then the city workers are like, man, now we got to go clean all this crap up.
They might get a bonus all those days.
That's true. But that's a troll. But I respect those traditions that each team has, that each school has. They're goofy, funny how they get started. Goofy little traditions like that just mean something to those there. Like you said, storming the field, you had the time of your life. Like what a party that was, running down there, celebrating on the field.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I can't believe the stadium's still standing after the kick six. I thought the walls were going to come down. I mean, I thought it was literally the stadium was going to crumble that night.
Jeff, that experience for me, I mean, seriously, storming the field was so great. I don't even remember anything else that happened after that game that season. It was just such a great experience. Everything else is blocked out from that season.
From that season, that's right.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers anything after that.
No.
I mean, but I respect that. So I like that. I like how different schools have different things like that. That just makes it unique to them. And we like to make fun of it, but it means something to y'all, and so y'all embrace it. And then y'all make fun of the things that we do, but that we embrace. So that's the beauty of the fandom, being the opposite ends, but having the same passion and the same love for the school and for those silly little things that each one of them does.
Yeah. So Miles, are you in Auburn or no?
I am not. The reason we hadn't uploaded a podcast in a little over a month now is my fault, not Michael's. I was living in Hoover. We just bought a house over in Chelsea, Alabama, on 280, right off 280. So yeah, we've been moving. Just moved to Chelsea, so Birmingham area.
Man, moving is brutal.
What about you, Chris?
Oh, I'm just north of Mobile, man.
Okay, wow. Okay,
yeah,
you're way down there.
Oh yeah. Have you been able to visit the Buc-ee's in Auburn?
So funny enough, a game that I'm sure y'all enjoyed last year, if y'all watched it, the Auburn Cal game. Michael and I were driving through. We were going to the game, and we were like, you know what? Let's go get a breakfast burrito. Of course, because it's 11 o'clock. That's typical Auburn football time. They screw us every single year on the schedule. So
the kickoff times are not Auburn's friend.
And we walk in there, and I kid you not, there is at least, and Michael can vouch for me, at least 25 Cal fans. And I'm like, they're going to Auburn, Alabama. This is like the number one thing on their bucket list. We're going to a Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
They're looking for the In-N-Out. Yeah. The fireworks over? Okay.
Yeah, I can talk again.
They were looking for the In-N-Out burger, and they stumbled upon Buc-ee's instead.
Yeah. I mean, you can get anything you want at Buc-ee's.
Buc-ee's is overhyped. We have one in Birmingham, and when I first moved to Birmingham, I was like, okay, we have a Buc-ee's. And I went out there a few times just to go to Buc-ee's. It's in Leeds.
Yeah. It's overhyped, and I agree with that. I mean, but that is the only place I can get one of my favorite drinks out of the fountain. And that's the
Stella,
Big Red,
the Arizona tea, Arnold Palmer tea lemonade mix. It's the only place I can get it. But if and I'm sure you got, I will go to a QT, a Quick Trip over Buc-ee's any day.
I do love a quick. There's
QTs
one right next to where I work, and I love stop. Actually, I stopped there today. Do you make it a many Bama games, Chris?
I used to. I'm planning on it this year.
Okay, so yeah, I'll be at I know I'll probably go to a couple. I'll be at the Louisiana Monroe. We'll break some news on here real quick. One of the things we plan on doing this year to kind of, grow the content creation and podcasting thing, we are going to be going and doing street interviews.
Oh, cool.
Auburn, so we're gonna maybe find us some
that's awesome.
Nice extroverted Alabama fans to give us a fun little interview.
I'll tell you exactly who you need to find. You need to find that barefoot guy that's running around.
Okay. I'll look for the guy with no shoes.
Roll Tide Willie.
Oh yeah. Look for the Yellowhammer too. You might see Nacho Alabama.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's cool. I like those street interviews. You get some good stuff there.
If anyone in the comments wants to be interviewed, just DM us on Twitter. We got you.
Just not J-Bake. Don't interview J-Bake.
Oh Lord,
J-Bake, you're not allowed. Sorry.
I wouldn't do any live interviews with J-Bake. I would do pre-recorded, and then you can edit when needed.
But college football, we can all get on Twitter or X and all social media, and we can throw jabs at each other and cut up. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're all here for the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
To have a good time is something we love. Us guys that create content, why can't we do it together?
For sure. We again really appreciate y'all having us on to come talk about our Auburn Tigers and have a little banter back and forth. It's
right. Well, we need you guys come on, tell us why they're a playoff team, and you made your case. I don't know that I believe it, but
I don't believe it.
You made your case.
I think deep down y'all really believe it, but sure.
Listen to that little voice back there. I think it's telling you. Yeah, I think it's telling you that I'm right here. Well, guys, we're going to let you guys run. We appreciate you guys coming on and fighting for your Auburn Tigers. Appreciate you, Miles, responding back when I reached out to you. I'm hoping this can lead to some more content in the future and some collab in the future. It's nice to get together with some people from the opposite side of the fan base.
Absolutely. Thanks again for having us on. We had a blast.
Yeah. All right. Roll Tide, boys.
Roll Tide, guys.
And AA knows.
AA knows. Hashtag AA knows. All right, guys. See you.
See you.
All right. Well, those are our friends from Auburn Anonymous. Good guys, man. They make good stuff. They're passionate about their squad, so we got to give them love for that. They sure believe what they're selling. I don't believe it.
Yep.
All of it, but not every. I had us winning it all last year, and we didn't make the dang playoffs. So you gotta ride with your school.
That's it. That's what you do. And I mean, I like those kids.
Yeah, they're good dudes, man.
Yeah, they're a little. Their expectations are high, but it is what it is.
Hey, the good thing about that is if if Auburn goes 11-1, they're building Hugh a statue.
Yeah.
If Bama goes 11-1, it's like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Yes. Okay, J-Bake, here we go.
There we go.
There it is.
Didn't we talk about it earlier?
Yeah, Tim's dying for them to come back
Bring
about
him back halfway in the
mid-season. We are
season.
going to have him on
yeah.
around the midpoint of the season to give a Auburn health check. And they may be 5-1, they may be 6-0, they may be 2-4, and looking for a coach. You never know. You never know.
You don't know.
You just never know.
Jeff, we're pushing a little over an hour.
Hey man, we rocking. We got two big commitments today. We got Crowell, we got the tight end.
We got Max Sutter. So
Max Sutter, Xavier Griffin's committing in 3 days.
Yeah. And at EJ, after he committed, you heard what he said. He said, Sedarian, come on home. And he threw
making moves.
He told Tank to come home too.
Tank's another big one there that there's a lot of talk about. So I know that's one a lot of folks are keeping their eye on is Tank from down there in your area.
He plays for St. Paul's, and I think Auburn's got their eye on him. We got our eye on him, but I think I saw something earlier today said that he's really leaning to Bama right now.
I mean, that would work for me. That would work for me. Apologize, everyone, for the technical snafus earlier. Yes. I had everything worked out, and then Michael didn't show, and it threw off the windows, and I couldn't get the windows right without.
And Michael came back, and then he left again, and then he claimed.
So I was having to do it on the fly while trying to host the show and be kind to our guests and respectful to our guests. So
claiming he's on a sabbatical, but we don't know.
Not sure.
I don't even. Yeah, well, he's at Disney.
Yeah, some parade at Disney he was in. I don't know.
Yeah, something about June, and I don't know.
Whatever. Michael's always at Disney, so
every time I'm going to Disney.
Every time you talk to Cotton, he's over there at Disney. So
going to Disney. Look at me.
Rock and roll. Oh, here we go. So we got a commitment tomorrow at 5:20. Thanks, Rod.
Yep.
That's a big one tomorrow. Griffin and a couple. Who else? Who's in between? Is there anybody else tomorrow?
I don't know. I don't keep up with the way Cotton does.
I know our
I have to work.
Knowledge is severely hindered when Cotton's not on the show. Let's see.
I'm going to turn the program around.
Coming off their worst season in 17 years, I guess you could say.
And I don't think he meant it that way. He may have. Who knows?
Trying to dissect what he meant there, but
yeah.
But I mean, everybody's piling on Alabama now. They've been waiting a long time to take their shots, and now they're doing it. So I'm sure he's heard that noise too. So then he comes on and he's like, "Hey man, I'm gonna go there and turn this thing around." And it's like, doesn't turn around's a tough. That may be strong, but he's gonna make us better than we were coming off our worst season in 17 years.
Eric says Malachi Lee commits tomorrow too, and I don't know if we can pull that upset off, but who knows?
Southern Res, right?
Yep,
that's probably where he is.
Yep.
Yeah. So who is Malachi Lee? What does he play?
Football. He plays football.
The foosball.
I don't know. I hadn't kept up with him really.
Okay.
I mean, your recruitment
Cotton when you need him. Cotton's not even in the comments either, so he didn't even tune into the show.
You know what? I'm done.
No respect.
He said, "I'm done."
He's like, "I'm not even going to tune in the comments."
Yep.
Oh, offensive line.'s a stallion though. Okay. So, J-Bay, who else on the docket? Who else are we missing? I'm not in it like Cotton is, man. Cotton tell you what size shoes all these guys wear.
Oh yeah.
Leaning towards Michigan. Yeah, who isn't leaning towards Michigan?
He'll
join his buddy Ty Haywood. Never saw the campus.
He'll choose them over Alabama, even if he wasn't even if Bama wasn't in the mix, he chose them over Bama.
Every commit, they'll be chosen over Alabama on those Hayes posts. You'll notice that.
Especially if they're going to Michigan.
Yeah. Zay Hall, that's tomorrow.
Yep.
Man, those are two big ones today, though. Tight end, man. I don't know how DeBoer uses tight ends. I hadn't studied his offense outside of really last year or 2 years ago, Washington, and then last year. We didn't use our tight ends a lot last year, although Cuevas had some big catches, but we didn't use Dupree like we should have, I thought. I thought that guy was a walking first down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, AK. I mean, that Michigan money shows up quick, and those guys run for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate. I mean, Ty Haywood was 1,000% committed for however long he was, and then now he's Michigan. Like, okay. I was thinking Ty was going to be protecting Keelan's backside for the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, you know what? It's getting late, and I'm tired. So
it is. Well, I appreciate everyone that joining in the chat tonight and being nice to our Barner friends. Let me throw this up there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Tell all your friends. Tell your family. Come give us a shot. We're doing our best here, trying to make content for y'all. Appreciate the chat. You guys keep it real in the chat. Always have a good time with you guys connecting. We wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for y'all and for the support we get from y'all. So appreciate everyone. Appreciate y'all coming to listen to the Auburn Anonymous guys. Go give them a listen. Go follow him on Twitter. Miles puts some outlandish stuff out there. It's pretty funny. So as always, eat your vitamins, drink your milk, beat Auburn, beat LSU, Tennessee 2, horns down. Everybody got that?
that's it.
Horns down. And we'll catch you guys on the flip. Later.
Wrong time.